This video is all about how much money you need to budget for when starting a blog / like how much exactly does it cost to actually start a blog that earns you money. So I have a website called bysophialead.com. I started it when I was 19 years old, so I've had it for 4 years now, and it now earns 7 figures a year. I'm in our office space right now. We have a team of 6 of us in total, and it has really turned into quite the business. A lot of people will try to tell you that it costs nothing to start a blog. That is not true. However, when I started my blog, like I said, I was 19 years old and I was broke. Like, I had no money whatsoever, so I had to be very strategic on what I spent money on and what I didn't spend money on. And so the good news is that I did it super affordable, and you can too. So I'm just giving you a little insight on exactly how much money you need to have to start a blog of your own. So I want to start off with 2 things. The first thing is I just want to reiterate that I was absolutely broke when I started my blog, and so I had to be very strategic with what I spent money on, and I think a lot of you watching this are probably in a similar position. And then the second thing I want to hit on is there's a lot of mistakes that I made in the last 4 years of growing my blogging business, and a lot of things that I wish I could go back and change. However, the way I started my blog and the tools that I used and just the process that I took for actually getting my blog up and running is one of those things that I look back at and I'm like, okay, you actually did it in a really smart way, and I would still recommend someone to do it in a similar fashion. I personally believe that no matter how much money you have, whether you have a lot of money that you can throw towards your blog or you are broke and you have to be very careful with what money you're putting towards your blog, that you start out going with the most affordable option as possible, because the reality is that a lot of people will start blogs and not a lot of them actually finish or like keep it up. So I personally believe that you should just upfront be putting the least amount of money towards it as possible until you are actually making income from it, and then you can justify spending more and more money on your website. Like I said, I am really happy with how I started my blog and how it has progressed. It's made my life a whole lot easier. So there are 2 things that I think are absolutely non-negotiables that you have to spend money on when first starting your blog. The first one is a self-hosted website, and then the second one is a WordPress theme. So going back to that self-hosted WordPress website, basically there is a hosted website and then there's a self-hosted website. I only recommend, and 97% of other full-time bloggers will only recommend someone starting a blog to start on a self-hosted WordPress blog. So the self-hosted is what you're going to need to purchase. The WordPress blog is actually free, and I highly like cannot say it enough that you start on a WordPress website. And there are a ton of different blogs, like blogging platforms that you can start. There's Wix, there's WordPress, Blogspot, I'm blanking on all the different names, but you kind of get the idea that there's a ton of different platforms that you can start your blog. I only recommend starting on WordPress. It's the leader of blogging platforms. It's the most compatible with different products that you're going to be using in the future when you are earning money. It just will make your life so much easier, and I will bet money, like literally I'll bet money, that if you started on a Wix or on a blogger.com or a blogspot.com, that later on in a year or 2, when you kind of got the process going, you're gonna wanna switch over to WordPress when you find out that that really is the like platform that you should be on, and it's going to be painful because at that point you're gonna have all of your blog posts set up, you're gonna have so much content, whether it's your logos, your branding, it's just not gonna be fun to switch everything over. So to start on a self-hosted WordPress website, there's different tiers that you can get for hosting. There's like, I like to describe it in the simplest terms. There's a Walmart tier, there's a Target tier, and there's a Nordstrom tier. You know, like Walmart's the cheapest, Target's the middle ground, and then Nordstrom's the most expensive. Like I said earlier in this video, I would spend the least amount of money, whether you have money to spend on this or not, on starting your blog, just to make sure that you actually are gonna stick with it. So when I started, because I was broke, I went with the Walmart version that was by far the most affordable hosting. And so I personally use Bluehost.com. And when you start a website on Bluehost.com, it is starting not only the Bluehost hosting, but also your WordPress website. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1 situation. I'll have the link to Bluehost below. Actually, I'll have all of this below. And then on my website, bysophialeigh.com/blogging, I have so many free guides and just like written out everything on how I started my blog that earns money, and just to be as helpful as possible for you. So Bluehost, they try to get you, because they'll be like, for $2.99 a month, you can start a blog, which technically that is true. However, you can't do it monthly payments. You have to do it all in one payment. So that in total is $36. That will get you a year of hosting. They will try to upsell you to getting a Choice Plus, which I think I actually did when I started my blog, get Choice Plus. Now looking back, I don't think that you need to go any higher than their basic, cheapest option. You can always upgrade later, but I, just to like spend as least amount of money possible, would just start with the cheapest one. And if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, like, it's taken me 4 years, but 4 years, and now we're making over 7 figures a year on this business. So to put $35, $36 towards like to start a business that makes that much money, that overhead is insane. And there's really no other business out there that you can start for that inexpensive. So the first thing that I think is an absolute non-negotiable to spending money on, that you will need a budget for when starting a blog, is getting a blogging host for your WordPress blog. Like I said, my blogging host when I first started was through Bluehost.com, and that allowed me to get on WordPress and just made it so easy. I love them because they're affordable, but they also are so helpful when you're starting a blog. There's so many things that you're gonna have questions on, and I would message them all the time like I was annoying, like literally like very annoying, and they would always get back to me. The second thing that I think is an absolute non-negotiable is getting a WordPress theme. So your WordPress theme is what your website's actually going to look like and the design of it. If you're a website designer, you can ignore this, but I would probably guess that most of us who are watching this are not website designers. I am not a website designer, and let me tell you, you do not want to spend the time trying to design your website. It is a waste of your time. It will never look as good as other people's, I can promise you. And the hack to getting it to look as good as other people's is getting a WordPress theme. What I did when I first started is I went to Etsy.com, and then on Etsy I searched WordPress themes. That gives you so many different options. There's going to be a lot of variance with how much one theme costs to the other ones. They can be as cheap as like $5, and then they can get as expensive as like $400. So obviously, like, that is based on what your budget is. If you have a very, very small budget, then go with the $5 one. Go with the best looking $5 WordPress theme that you can find. And all of these WordPress themes that you are going to purchase, whether it's through Etsy, through another website, whatever it is, will give you exact instructions on how to set it up. They have it very easily. It's probably like, mine was a PDF that you would just go through, and then it'd be like, give you exact instructions on, okay, you need to bring this here on WordPress, do this. They know that you're not, they basically have it set up so if you're as least tech savvy as possible, you'll be able to figure out how to get this installed. So those are the two non-negotiables. Getting, I recommend Bluehost.com, and then I also recommend going to Etsy and getting a WordPress theme off of there. Obviously, if you want to do your own research, you could find different, there's a ton of different hosting platforms out there for WordPress websites, and then there's a ton of different websites that can give you WordPress themes. Those are just what I personally had really, really good luck with. I ended up going specifically with 17th Avenue Design for my WordPress theme, but I will say it was like $65. So that was one of my birthday gifts that year, which ended up being a very, very good birthday gift for me. But if you don't have a lot of money, you can spend less on it. Okay, the third thing, if you have any extra money to spend, I would highly, highly recommend getting a blogging course. And I have a video going over every single blogging course that I've ever taken. I have blogging courses out there. I have a Perfecting Blogging, which honestly, I would highly recommend, not even just like I mean, I guess it is technically self-promo, but perfecting blogging is like every single thing that I wish I personally knew when starting a blog. Starting a blog is not just going and writing what you think is fun to write. There's a science behind it. Every single post that we post on buysophialee.com is so strategic, like stupid strategic, and we are very smart about what we put out there, when we put it out, our SEO techniques, so many things. So that course basically goes over that our entire strategy and system for that. And then I have another course, Perfecting Pinterest, which goes over our Pinterest strategy. So I do think those are actually really good options if you're looking to start a blog, but obviously I'm biased a little bit. I do have a video of all of the blogging courses that I took, like I said, or you can go do research of your own. But the reason that I hype up blogging courses so much is because you can spend months and months and months researching how to do something on your website, or you can go spend some money and someone who spent those months and months and months and months researching can tell you their proven way that they've been able to figure something out, and it can save you so much time. I remember when I first started, I would take any babysitting job that I could possibly get, and I would put all of that money towards getting blogging courses. And I swear that's one of the reasons why I was able to grow this blog so fast, is because I wasn't taking the time to figure it out myself. I was learning from other successful bloggers that were making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. If you have any extra money that you can put to your blog, I would highly recommend doing a blogging course or 2 blogging courses if you can, but that is kind of an extra. Like, that's not a absolute non-negotiable. So those are the things that I think you absolutely need a budget for. I would say in total, you probably need $45 if you are doing the blogging host and the WordPress theme, which, like I said, $45 to start a business that in a few years will be making you nearly $1 million a year is pretty amazing. So hopefully that was really helpful for you. Make sure to subscribe. I'm on a roll with these blogging videos. I hope that they're really helpful. I have to say, you guys hype me up in my blogging videos more than any other video that I put out there. Going and looking at the comments on my blogging channel on the videos always makes me a little re-energized, because you are all so nice. So I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you at the next video. Also, if you have any blogging topics that you want me to cover in these videos, please comment them below, because we actually go through them. Like, our entire schedule for these videos from now all the way until the end of the year are all requests that we found from the comments of these blogging videos. So I hope you enjoy them, and I will see you at the next video.